didn't check my sound. Hopefully, I'm sounding okay. If, oh shit, what did I do here? I changed something in my. Anyways, how are you guys? I hope you can hear me well. I'm gonna check my sound. Give me 1 second. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, sound good. Sound is good. So, hello, guys. I hope you're okay. Yesterday was a great day for the freedom. We did an episode about the arrest of Nicolás Maduro, the tyrant from Venezuela. Great operation from the U.S. Delta forces. I wanted to hear the words of Marco Rubio yesterday. Marco Rubio, you're the man. Thank you for this. Hello, Christopher. How are you? Nice to see you today. So yesterday he couldn't talk too much during the press conference. I think this is the guy we have to listen to. This is the mastermind of the whole arrest of the criminal Nicolás Maduro, and I wanted to listen to him. I wanted to hear his words. So yesterday he didn't have the opportunity. Let's say today he provided a very interesting interview. So that's what I want to do today to react or to yeah let's say to react to the interview he made today. So just gonna play the interview and I'm gonna stop from time to time to talk about his words. Again, thank you, Mr. Rubio. You're the man. So yesterday it was Maduro, the one who was arrested. We have to continue arresting the rest of the criminals that are still there in Venezuela. They're still in the power, so hopefully they're gonna fall very soon. Hello, Fishy. How are you? Nice to have you here. Thank you for showing up. Yesterday we had our good friend Dan with us. So if you didn't catch the live yesterday, go listen to it. It's interesting. So I'm gonna play Marco Rubio and I'm gonna stop from time to time, guys.
Where we live.
Joining me now is Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Secretary Rubio, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to start with this big picture question. Is the United States now at war with Venezuela?
There's not a war. I mean, we are at war against drug trafficking organizations. It's not a war against Venezuela. We are enforcing American laws with regards to oil sanctions. We have sanctioned entities. We go to court. We get a warrant. We seize those boats with oil, and that will continue. We would continue to reserve the right to take strikes against drug boats that are bringing drugs towards the United States that are being operated by transnational criminal organizations, including the Cartel de los Sols. Of course, the leader of that cartel, is now in U.S. custody and facing U.S. justice in the Southern District of New York, and that's Nicolás Maduro. So we made a big progress in that regard.
So just to say that the whole speech about the drugs is just a pretext. They used the whole drug situation as a pretext to go to enter in Venezuela and to arrest Maduro. But I don't care. I love it. It was a great strategy. So regardless of the legality of the intervention, let's say, or of that operation, I think that morality is above legality, and this intervention had to happen years ago. So finally, it happened yesterday. Again, the drug speech is pure pretext here. They're going for the oil of Venezuela, which I don't care, because part of that benefit is going to go to the Venezuela population. Today, all the benefit from the oil business was going to the pockets of Nicolás Maduro. And of course, it was in the benefit of the Russian people, the Cubans, and the Chinese. So the people from Venezuela, they were not having any profit for the business oil. So now if the United States government are going to control the oil in Venezuela, that's going to be a win-win situation. Money for US, money for Venezuela. Everybody is gonna win there. So let's continue with Marco Rubio.
Mr. Secretary, who is in charge? Are you running Venezuela right now?
Yeah, I mean, I keep people, fixating on that. Here's the bottom line on it is we expect to see changes in Venezuela. Changes of all kinds, long-term, short-term. We'd love to see all kinds of changes, but the most immediate changes are the ones that are in the national interest of the United States. That's why we're involved here, because of how it applies and has a direct impact on the United States. Okay, we are not going to be able to allow in our hemisphere a country that becomes a crossroads for the activities of all of our adversaries around the world. We just can't allow it. We can't have a country where the people in charge of its military and in charge of its police department are openly cooperating with drug trafficking organizations. We're not going to allow that. These things are direct threats to the United States, and we intend to use every element of leverage that we have to ensure that that changes. The one I would point everyone to is that our military is helping the Coast Guard conduct a law enforcement function, which is not just the capture of Maduro, but the enforcement of our sanctions. We go to court, we get a warrant, we seize the boats. And we think this is tremendous leverage, incredible, crippling leverage, which we intend to continue to use until we see the changes that we need to see that are benefit to the American people. And by the way, we believe to the people of Venezuela as well.
But Mr. Secretary.
And he's right. Venezuela is full of spies from China, spies from Cuba, spies from Russia. Venezuela is allowing to the Colombian guerrilla to enter into the Venezuelan territory. There's a total chaos there. So he's right. This is the U.S. backyard, and we have to get rid of those spies there. And again, they have to control the oil business in Venezuela to at least permit the Venezuelan population to have part of that profit. So he's right about that. Fishy, is this what the Venezuelan people want? Of course, they're celebrating everywhere in the world. You have this. You can see the streets of Miami. You can see the streets of New York, Argentina, Colombia, everywhere. Venezuelan people from Venezuela are super happy about it. The demonstration of joy or happiness in Venezuela are still a little bit moderated because the criminals, the Maduro's friends, are still in the power, so they are afraid to go out. But we can see every single demonstration in Twitter, in Facebook. We can see people celebrating in the streets. So yeah, that's what Venezuela wanted long time ago. This situation lasted a long of time, and Trump was the only one with the balls to make it happen. And thanks to Marco Rubio, because he was the one whispering to Donald Trump to make this to happen. Doesn't China bring a ton of drugs into? Yeah, I agree with you, but again, the drugs are a pretext. I don't buy the drugs speech. They needed to enter to Venezuela to arrest Nicolás Maduro, and in order to have some type of legality to do that, they are using the speech of the drugs. But this is secondary. This is just a pretext. Fishy, I'm very ignorant to this situation, so forgive me. No worries. I just don't see how it's okay to just snatch a president. That's the problem. He was not the president. He was not the legitimate president. He stole the elections. So after him being in the power, There are more than 9 million people from Venezuela leaving the country. Just in Colombia, in my country, they have we have 3 million people from Venezuela. They are dying of hunger. They are hungry. So again, he is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. When he stole the elections, he made like a parallel assembly, let's say like a parallel Congress, something like that. It's just bad. It's just horrible. The oil, windy weather or winter, the oil situation really screw us now in Canada. Yeah, I don't know. The thing with the oil is this one. You know that in Venezuela they have the largest amount of oil reserves in the world. So Venezuela is this part like in yellow, you know. This is the Atlantic Ocean. We have Guyana here, and we have my beautiful country, Colombia, here in the border with Venezuela. What happens there? The oil that is in this reserve is a very heavy oil. It's a very thick oil. And the refineries that are able to process that oil are the American refineries. You know what I mean? So anyways, I don't know why I'm talking because you were asking about the oil situation in Canada. Good point. Trump says Colombia is next. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope Colombia is next. I don't care if it was legal or illegal. It was the correct thing to do. And again, morality above legality. The correct thing to do was to go there to kidnap or to arrest that president, that illegitimate president, because he was not the person who was elected by the Venezuelan population. He was a criminal. He was a murderer. He was stealing the money of the oil produced by Venezuela, and nothing was going to the Venezuelan population. The inflation in Venezuela is 1 million. No, it's almost today. It's almost 5 million%. It's incredible. It changes every day. But imagine that type of inflation is just crazy. If we can do it here, we can do it anywhere. Hopefully, thank God you can do it, and you could do it. You had the power to do it, and that was a great situation to arrest that criminal. It was the best thing that could happen to Venezuela. And again, we were waiting for that outcome since a lot of years ago. A lot of voters of Donald Trump are Latino. They voted for him because that was one of the promises to fix the situation in Venezuela, and he delivered. He delivered. Michelle, so if the entire Western Hemisphere becomes the United States, we can live wherever we like without a visa? I think it's a rhetoric question, so I'm not going to answer to that. I'm going to continue with our good friend, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State.
Terry, I think there's a lot of questions about who the point people are during this transition. President Trump said, we're going to run the country. So is it you? Is it Secretary Hegseth? Who are those people who will be running the country specifically?
Well, it's not running, it's running policy. The policy with regards to this, we want Venezuela to move in a certain direction because not only do we think it's good for the people of Venezuela, it's in our national interest. It either touches on something that's a threat to our national security or touches on something that's either beneficial or harmful.
And are you involved in that transition,
So obviously
Secretary?
I'm very involved in this. Well, of course, I mean, I think everyone knows I'm pretty involved on politics in this hemisphere. Obviously, the Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, very involved in all these elements. The Department of War plays a very important role here, along with the Department of Justice, for example, because they're the ones that have to go to court. So this is a team effort by the entire national security apparatus of our country, but it is running this policy. And the goal of the policy is to see changes in Venezuela that are beneficial to the United States, first and foremost, because that's who we work for, but also, we believe, beneficial for the people of Venezuela.
That's a great point of Marco. He's not hiding anything. He's going very honest, brutally honest. He's saying, we're going to take advantage of this situation. We are going to profit from the Venezuelan oil, but part of that money is going to go to the people of Venezuela. And that's what we need. We need prosperity in our countries. We need people having the way to work, having the way to buy food. We want the spies from Russia, from Cuba, and from China out of this continent. Bye-bye, we don't want that. So, fishy. If people are coming in the US because they are in danger or they cannot build productive, happy lives, then this seems like a good idea. And you know, in Venezuela today, I think they have like around 20 million people there. And 9 million are outside of the country because of this criminal that was arrested yesterday. It's crazy. It's just crazy. We do it other places all the time. The other places are different. When we talk about Syria, Libya, it's not the same thing. This is a very particular situation here. So I'm going to continue with Marco Rubio.
Who have suffered tremendously. We want a better future for Venezuela, and we think a better future for the people of Venezuela also is stabilizing for the region and makes the neighborhood we live in a much better and safer place.
President Trump said the administration is working with Maduro's Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez. Why does the administration oppose working with the opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado? She's the Nobel Peace Prize winner, of course, as well. Her coalition has the support of 70% of Venezuelans. Why not work with her?
Well, a couple things. First of all, Maria Corina Machado is fantastic.
Windy weather all winter. That's 50-50, let's say, because the Trump government, they met with the Chinese government, and they said that they are going to respect the oil market business, let's say. So yes, United States, they are going to control the oil business in Venezuela, the oil industry, but they are continuing supplying the oil to China. So of course, they're going to play with prices, and it's going to be good for US, but China, they are going to have the oil as well. It's not that's not going to stop. Michelle, the US is running Venezuela for now, so they are basically American citizens. I hope Venezuela, US is going to run the country, Venezuela, and Colombia someday. We need that for real.
And she's someone I've known for a very long time, and that whole movement is. But we are dealing with the immediate reality. The immediate reality is that, unfortunately, and sadly, but unfortunately, the vast majority of the opposition is no longer present inside of Venezuela. We have short-term things that have to be addressed right away. We all wish to see a bright future for Venezuela, a transition to democracy. All of these things are great, and we all want to see that. I've worked on that for 15 years on a personal level, both in the Senate and now as National Security Advisor and Secretary of State. These are things I still care about, we still care about. But what we're talking about is what happens over the next 2-3 weeks, 2-3 months, and how that ties to the national interest of the United States. And so we expect to see more compliance and cooperation than we were previously receiving. With Nicolás Maduro, you could not make a deal or an arrangement. Although he, by the way, was given very generous offers. He could have left Venezuela as recently as, a week and a half ago. There were opportunities available for him to avoid all of this because now he's not someone we can work with. He suckered the Biden administration into stupid deals. He's made a career out of not keeping deals and figuring out how to save himself by buying time. And President Trump was not going to fall into that trap.
Think-
So now there are other people in charge of the military and police apparatus there. They're going to have to decide now what direction they want to go. And we hope they will choose a different direction than the one Nicolás Maduro picked. Ultimately, we hope this leads to a holistic transition all the way around in Venezuela, societal, political, all of that. We're in favor of all of that. But right now, we have to take the first steps. And the first steps are securing what's in the national interest of the United States and also beneficial to the people of Venezuela. And those are the things that we're focused on right now. No more drug trafficking, no more Iran, Hezbollah presence there, and no more using the oil industry to enrich all our adversaries around the world and not benefiting the people of Venezuela, or frankly, benefiting the United States and the region.
You talk about
So he was just right about everything he said. Maduro, he was very stupid. Trump was trying to negotiate with him. He didn't want to go out. He was very arrogant. He was saying, Trump, come from me. We're waiting for you. And that's what he got. He's now behind the bars in prison. I hope it's going to be a life sentence. I hope he's going to rot in prison. And I hope he's going to rot in hell after dying in prison. The people that are today in the power of Venezuela, maybe they're not going to be that stupid. They're going to negotiate with the American people to permit the transition. That operation was really clean, was very precise, was very exceptional. It took 3 hours to enter to Venezuela and to capture Nicolás Maduro. It's like in the movies. Remember that Russia, he was providing a lot of weapons, a lot of military infrastructure to Venezuela as part of the payments for the oil, for the Venezuelan oil. Venezuela, Maduro, and those criminals were that incompetent that they were not able to use the anti-aircraft bases against the helicopters and the planes that U.S. used to go to Venezuela, because they are stupid, incompetent. They are not able to maintain those bases, that type of weapons. They're just a zero at the left. Thank God he's behind prison, behind bars today. So awesome situation that happened yesterday. Hey, by the way, if you follow potentially criminally, Sean, he made a great coverage about this situation yesterday. So I know that some of you follow potentially criminally. Sean, you know who am I talking about? So go check his. Actually, one of the helicopters was hit, but it couldn't be like destroyed, let's say. There were no American fatalities during that intervention. And Maduro was bragging about the power of the Venezuelan army. He was defying Trump. Come here, you're gonna get what you deserve. He was not able to do shit. So, as expected, of course, for that type of incompetent dictator.
holistic transition. I think there's a lot of focus on potential elections. How soon will elections be held? Within 30 days, Mr. Secretary?
Elections? Well, look, this is a country that's been governed by this regime now for 14 or 15 years. The elections should have happened a long time ago. The elections did happen. They lost them and they didn't count the votes, or they refused to count the votes, and everyone knows it. So all of that.
That's what I'm saying. He was not the legitimate president. He stole the elections. And that's why everyone was really pissed about the situation in Venezuela. He was not even their president. So when you have someone in the power that people of your country you didn't vote for, of course, is a regime. And it's almost 29 years, because Chavez was in the power in 1999. We are in 2026. It's a lot of time. It took a lot of time to get rid of this piece of shit.
I think it's premature at this point. There's a lot of work to be done here. Right now, what we are focused in, let's be realistic here. What we are focused on right now is all of the problems we had with when Maduro was there. We still have those problems in terms of them needing to be addressed. We are going to give people an opportunity to address those challenges and those problems. Until they address it, they will continue to face this oil quarantine. They will continue to face pressure from the United States. We will continue to target drug boats if they try to run towards the United States. We will continue to seize the boats that are sanctioned with court orders. We will continue to do that and potentially other things until the things we need to see addressed are addressed. Because ultimately, above everything else, we care about elections, we care about democracy, we care about all of that. But the number one thing we care about is the safety, security, well-being, and prosperity of the United States. And that's what we're going to focus on first and foremost here. And that's what these policies, these changes we need to see made are about.
Okay, significant there. You say you will continue to seize boats when necessary. I want to ask you about boots on the ground. A lot of attention on that. The president was asked.
That's going to be very interesting. Boots on the ground, because so far there was like an aerial intervention. So there are not troops of the U.S. Army in Venezuela right now. But again, the power is still with the criminals there. So maybe the next step or the next phase, if they don't want to negotiate, is going to be an actual intervention, like a boots on the ground intervention. So I think that's going to be unlikely, because they're not going to be that stupid. They know that U.S. The U.S. is able to go and to extract, to remove anyone from there. So, but that could be an option here.
About the possibility of U.S. boots on the ground, he said, quote, "We're not afraid of it." How many U.S. forces are on the ground right now in Venezuela? Are there any?
We don't have U.S. forces on the ground in Venezuela. No, we don't have U.S. forces on the ground. Everyone knows. They were on the ground for about 2 hours when they went to capture Maduro. And I think what the president is saying is very simple, and that is, as president of the United States, he is not going to go around telling people what he's not going to do. He's not going to go around saying, I won't do this, I won't do that. Yes, I care about this issue, but I'll only go so far. He retains all this optionality. In the particular case you're citing, this was, in essence, at its core, a law enforcement function. Okay, the Department of Justice, dating back in the Biden administration, that had a $25 million reward for his capture. So we have a reward for his capture, but we're not going to enforce it. That's the difference between President Trump and everybody else. All these, it's easy to make a wanted poster and say $50 million for the capture of Maduro, but no one takes that seriously because you're not going to do anything about it. President Trump did something about it.
Let me ask you.
He did something about it. We went in, we grabbed him, he was arrested, and he's now in New York. No Americans were killed, no equipment was lost. It had to be done, and it's been done. And I assure you, the people left behind in Venezuela now that are in charge of the police and everything else, I assure you, they're going to probably be a lot more compliant than Maduro was as a result of this.
Well, President Trump told the New York Post there won't be troops in Venezuela as long as Delcy Rodriguez, quote, does what we want. She's already, though, demanding the release of Nicolás Maduro. As you know, she's insisting that her country never become a colony.
I think that's already negotiated. And maybe the ones that are in the power today, maybe they sold Maduro. Maybe there was a negotiation between the people surrounding Maduro and the American government that type of intelligence could be the factor for the arrest of Maduro yesterday. So maybe just my nose talking right now.
What exactly does Rodriguez need to do to keep U.S. troops out of Venezuela?
Well, forget about the U.S. troops portion of it. What needs to happen for any of this to change, for our relations with Venezuela to change and our whole approach to it to change, the things we have talked about are the ones I've highlighted already. You can't flood this country with gang members. You can't flood this country with drugs that are coming out of Colombia through Venezuela with the cooperation of elements of your security forces. You can't turn Venezuela into the operating hub for Iran, for Russia, for Hezbollah, for China, for the Cuban intelligence agents that control that country. That cannot continue. Those things cannot continue to be in place. You cannot continue to have.
Again, fishy, because that's not the objective here. That's a speech that they are using as a pretext, and I understand that strategy, but it's not about drugs. It's about oil. It's drugs is a big business for America as well. So they are using that pretext to go to enter in Venezuela, but it's not about drugs. It's part of their strategy, it's part of their speech, but the situation here is oil. It's not drugs.
The largest oil reserves, in the world, under the control of adversaries of the United States, not benefiting the people of Venezuela, and stolen by a handful of oligarchs around the world, including inside of Venezuela, but not benefiting the people of that country. We've seen how our adversaries all over the world are exploiting and extracting resources from Africa, from every other country. They're not going to do it in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah. They are not. That is not going to happen under President Trump. Read our national security strategy. He is serious about it, and he's going to do something about it, and we're doing something about it.
Let me ask you about oil. The president says the U.S.
Yes, Michelle, there's a lot of oil, of course. It's the largest oil reserves in the world, in Venezuela. And they have a lot of minerals. They have gold, they have silver. It's you're right. You're right. Fishy sounds kind of like a big tech with our data. What do you mean, Fishy? I'm not sure what are you saying here.
Is taking over the oil. The question is, I guess, if the purpose of the operation was to capture Maduro and bring him to justice, why does the United States need to take over the Venezuelan oil industry?
Well, we don't need to. First, let me go back up. We don't need Venezuela's oil. We have plenty of oil in the United States. What we're not going to allow is for the oil industry in Venezuela to be controlled by adversaries of the United States. You have to understand, why does China need their oil? Why does Russia need their oil? Why does Iran need their oil? They're not even in this continent. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is where we live. And we're not going to allow the Western Hemisphere to be a base of operation for adversaries, competitors, and rivals of the United States.
Have specific oil companies.
We also want to see that oil and the proceeds from it. Hold on. We want to see the oil proceeds of that country benefit the people of Venezuela. Why have 8 million people left Venezuela? 8 million, the single largest mass migration probably in modern.
I have to correct Marco, not 8 million, 9 million people, 9 million. And I understand now the comment, yeah, there's a huge copper shortage right now. Okay, got it. So that's part of the whole situation, of course. Fishy, they take the resources data or oil, then it should benefit the people, but make rich a few companies. Of course, of course. Of course. Big tech needs the methods, yeah, for sure.
In history, left Venezuela in 2014 because all the wealth of that country was stolen to the benefit of Maduro and his cronies in the regime, but not to the benefit of people of Venezuela. You know how this
is crazy. Venezuela should be one of the richest countries in the world, and people are dying of hunger. You know that the average income of one person in Venezuela is $3 per month. Per month. The inflation is 5 million %. Can you process those numbers? It's crazy. It's just insane, because all the money from the oil is in the pockets of Maduro, in the Switzerland's bank accounts, and people are eating dogs on the streets. What the fuck?
Stabilizing 8 million migrants is? The number one fear that Brazil has, that Colombia has, that all these countries in the region have about what's happening in Venezuela and our involvement is they're afraid of another mass migration event. That's what they fear. This is deeply destabilizing stuff. It's not going to continue to happen. They are not going to come from outside of our hemisphere, destabilize our region in our own backyard, and us have to pay the price for it. Not under President Trump.
Let's talk big picture here. U.S. regime change, historically speaking, has not gone very well for the United States. In Iraq, in Libya, to name a few examples. Can you assure Americans, the people of the United States, that this time will be different?
Well, here's what's happened. We've got this phobia built up and this sort of thing that's it's like, number one, most of the experts that people have on television, I watch these experts and it's clown hour. Okay, these are people that have focused their entire career on the Middle East or some other part of the world because that's where all the action was. Very few of them know anything about Venezuela or the Western Hemisphere. Venezuela looks nothing like Libya. It looks nothing like Iraq. It looks nothing like Afghanistan. It looks nothing like the Middle East other than the Iranian agents that are running through there plotting against America. Okay, these are Western countries with long traditions among their at a people-to-people and cultural level and ties to the United States. So there's nothing like that. So I think people need to stop ascribing the apples and oranges here. The apples of the Middle East to the oranges of
100%. It's like the bullet of Delphi, apples and oranges. Exactly. You cannot compare Libya and Syria with Venezuela at all.
The Western Hemisphere.
But do you...
Number two, this is about the national interest of the United States. And what I'm confident of is we are in a safer and better place because we're taking it seriously. The alternative would have been to leave Maduro there as an indicted drug trafficker, illegitimate president, running the country, open invitation for all of our adversaries to do whatever they want against the United States from Venezuela. That was not going to continue. The alternative would have been to allow a drug trafficker to continue to use national territory and elements of nation-state power to further drug trafficking organizations. Read the indictment. This guy used the levers of their security apparatus not to arrest drug traffickers, but to cooperate and facilitate the trafficking of drugs for the purpose of getting them into the United States. And that's going to stop.
And yet, Mr. Secretary, a month ago, President Trump...
And even if the drug speech is just part of the strategy and is not the real objective of the US government, it's true. Maduro was the head of the cartel. So he was a drug dealer and he was running the country. So it's not the objective for US to stop the drug business at all. Is to go after the oil of Venezuela, but it is true that he was a drug dealer, a mafia boss, a trafficant. So just to say that here.
Pardon the former president of Honduras, who was just starting a 45-year sentence for trafficking more than 500 tons of cocaine. Does that not undercut the administration's stated goal, as you just said, to go after these narco-terrorists?
Number one, the former president of Honduras. So this is not someone who was in power, had any influence with the politics of Honduras any longer. Number two, I don't do the pardon file. I'm not against it or for it. I just didn't review the file. So I can't speak to you about the dynamics that led the president to make the decision that he made. I think he talked about it yesterday at the press conference. He reviewed the file. He went through the arguments in it, and he felt that the former president of Honduras was treated very unfairly by the previous administration and made the decision that he made. But I think the answer, whether you agree with that decision or not, people can disagree. I mean, there's people out there who make a living out of disagreeing with anything President Trump does. That doesn't mean you leave Maduro in place. That doesn't mean you don't go after Maduro. That's not the answer. I see people saying that. It's like, well, you know, how can you go after Maduro if you didn't do this? That's absurd. The answer to that, whether you have a problem with it or not, is not to leave in place someone who's been indicted, who hasn't even faced American justice yet, but now will.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I was referencing, obviously, the former president. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles told Vanity Fair that an attack on Venezuela's mainland would require approval from Congress. Why didn't that happen, and will it?
That's a great question. That's a great question, and I want to listen to the answer. They didn't have the approval of the Congress to make that intervention, which again to me is great. It was a great move. Again, to me, morality above legality. If they ask the Congress to permit that intervention is never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen, and we have to wait another 30 years to wait for Maduro to die by natural issues, let's say. So it was a great move from Trump and Marco Rubio and all of these guys to not to ask to the Congress for permission, because if they do that, this intervention wouldn't happen at all. So great. Let's see what is Marco Rubio gonna say about it.
Happen with any future action the administration plans to take in Venezuela or elsewhere?
This was not an action that this was not an action that required congressional approval. In fact, it couldn't require congressional approval because this was not an invasion. This is not an extended military operation. This is a very precise operation that involved a couple of hours of action. It was a very delicate operation too. It was one that required all these conditions to be in place at the right time in the right place. You couldn't afford leaks. We couldn't afford anything out there that would have endangered the mission and gotten people killed or killed off the mission and the optionality. We didn't even know if the mission was going to happen. How can you notify something you're not even sure if it can happen? Because in order for it to happen, you needed to have weather conditions in place. He needed to be at the right place at the right time. We needed to have forces prepared to go. There were a lot of factors in place. It was a trigger-based operation. You can't notify that.
So in that specific case, in this specific case, I'm very glad that they didn't ask for permission to the Congress. Great move again. Great move.
Number one, because you don't even know what's going to happen if those conditions will ever align. And number two, you can't risk it being disclosed. But this was not an attack on Venezuela. This was a law enforcement function to capture an indicted drug trafficker. And of course, we needed the Department of War to support it because they do have anti-aircraft missiles that could shoot down those helicopters.
But will you?
We had to take down radars. We had to take down those anti-air elements on the way in and on the way out, and that's what this was limited to.
But will you seek congressional approval for any further action in Venezuela or the region?
Well, we will seek congressional approval for actions that require congressional approval, but otherwise they will get congressional notification. And this is not an operation that required congressional approval. In fact, this is an operation akin to what virtually every single president for the last 40 years is conducted. The difference is that when it's Donald Trump, all these Democrats go bonkers.
Is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary? Very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with Wendy. Canada is the sinking ship. Yeah, we are going down so bad. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Is every single day is worst. Hopefully, it's gonna get better. The situation. I'm not sure if the U.S. is in a good place. I'm not in that line of thinking. But you're right. Canada is sinking in an accelerated way.
The Cuban government is a huge problem. First of all,
is that a yes?
Cuba, but I don't think people fully appreciate. I think they're in a lot of trouble. Yes, I'm not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard, but I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans of the Cuban regime, who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro. His entire internal security force, his internal security apparatus is entirely controlled by Cubans. One of the untold stories here is how, in essence, you talk about colonization, because I think you said Delcy Rodriguez mentioned that. The ones who have sort of colonized, at least inside the regime, are Cubans. It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was not guarded by Venezuelan bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence, who spies on who inside to make sure there are no traitors, those are all Cubans.
All right. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, thank you for joining us after an incredibly busy 48 hours. Really.
Great interview. I love it. I love the answers of Marco Rubio. I was waiting for his words yesterday. We couldn't have these words yesterday because Trump, he didn't give the microphone to him. But today, finally, I love what he said, and I'm very happy that Maduro is in prison. The world is a better place today, thanks to the intervention of the U.S. government in Venezuela yesterday. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of time, but finally it happened. People of Venezuela are very happy in Venezuela, in every single part of the world. Again, just in Colombia, in my country, we have 3 million people from Venezuela. They had to go out to try to find a better way to live. And Colombia is not a rich country. So imagine people from the richest country, or people from Venezuela, who is the country with the largest amount of oil reserves, are going to Colombia to have some type of possibility to have a decent life. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just insane. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And yeah, the entire world is a damn mess. I agree with you. So thank you guys for being here, for listening to Cryptex talking about this situation. Again, it's very personal to me. I'm very happy. Thank you, Topher, for being here. Australia. Michelle, thank you for your comments. Our good friend from Alberta in Canada, Wendy. Fishy was here. Guys, please hit the like. It's gonna help me to move the algorithm. If you are catching the replay, guys, please do the same. And if you are interested in supporting my channel, you know, you can become a member. It's really not expensive at all, and it allows me to invest some time in doing research and sharing my thoughts in my videos with you guys. Garnet Daly, now Trump needs to clean house in Canada. Our Liberal Party government is destroying Canada and letting hundreds, maybe even thousands of terrorists into our country. You mean our country? I tend to agree with you. The situation is not great here. So I don't think that the solution is gonna permit the U.S. government to intervene here, but something needs to change in Canada. The ship is sinking, as Wendy was saying before. The cost of life is just insane. Everything is so expensive. You go to the grocery store, you cannot buy anything, or you can buy if you have money, but with the same amount of money you had like 5 years before, you cannot buy anything today. It's just insane. Prices are elevated. We see a lot of homeless people day by day. The rents of the house are super expensive. The prices of the house are super expensive. I think it's still safe in terms of violence. It's not a violent country, in my opinion. But if the situation continue like that, violence is gonna come. The situation are gonna be just yeah. That's gonna be the outcome, because it's just bad. It's degenerating, let's say. Michelle, they are burning all the hotels down in Belfast because the government in housing immigrants. Ah, okay. Are you from Scotia? Let me see something here. 1 second, guys. Ireland, sorry. Ireland. I have a good friend in Ireland, but I don't remember if he's living in North Ireland or South Ireland. Cripsy. Garnet Daily. For sure it's sinking. It's so hard to feed yourself. It's just bad. It's just bad. Yeah, man. Australia is the same. The good thing is that there's still a lot of opportunities to work, let's say, to have a job. So if you look, you're gonna find a job. But the money is not enough today. So what's the word to to say this. I forgot it, but the money is nothing today here. It's like just paper. Yeah, exactly. The coffee. Oh my God, that is freaking insane. The price of the coffee is as you said, $6 a year ago. Today is $16. I don't know if you are from Ireland. Are you in US? Okay. It's the same here in Canada. It's the same. The price of the coffee. Oh my God, what's going on? I don't know. People in Canada need to wake up and get the Liberal Party government out of government. I think we need a change. Changes are good, like in oscillation periods, let's say. I don't want to have the right side in the power like forever, but I don't want to have the left side in the power like forever either. So I think it's time to change the type of government here. Maybe it's my personal opinion. I know that some people don't like Poilievre, but I would like to have Poilievre in the power just to see if he's able to shake some stuff here, because we need someone shaking the country. Exactly. It's time for change. It's time for change, 100%. Coffee in Canada is almost, oh my God. Well, depends of the type of coffee you, not here in Montreal. In Montreal is, let's say 12, 13 Canadian dollars, but before it was like $6. So it's 3 times more expensive. It's just crazy. Yeah, imagine I'm from Colombia. Imagine how sad this situation makes me feel. Me too, I love coffee. So yeah, it's time to change. It's time to change. So let's see. It's not Canada, the US, it's the worldwide. Yeah, I agree with you, 100%. Left, right are 2 wings of the same bird. Yeah, I agree, but sometimes the wing goes up, so you need the other wing to counter balance the bird. You know what I mean? If you have the right wing always at the upper side, the bird is gonna fall. So you need the other wing to do a counterbalance. You know what I mean? They like to play good cop. Yeah, I agree. All of them, they are all of them corrupt, but it's just sad. Social engineering. Yeah. Okay, guys. I think it was a great live. At least your comments were very interesting. I love the interchange with you guys. Michelle was a little bit spicy, and I know that you have your ideas about Trump. Me too. I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump at all, but in this specific situation, the intervention in Venezuela, he did the right thing, and I'm very happy for the Venezuelan people and from the Colombian people too. And if Trump is able to do the same type of intervention in Colombia, I would be even more happy. Garnet Daly, it's time for the Conservative Party to come in and do something. You mean here in Canada? Yeah, but why is the Canadian population not voting for the Conservative Party? I don't get it. If things are not going well, and if we need a change, why that happened? I don't understand. I don't get it. And I voted for, at the time, for Trudeau. This is what I get. So great. It was not maybe the best decision I made, but I made it. So Wendy, Garnet, yes, but Ontario controls our elections. My right, it's a good show. Thank you for that. What do you think about the whole situation? My right, I don't know. Garnet, because of all the imagination of people getting free money from the government. Yeah, I don't know. If at least we can have like an independent party in the power, just to see what can we change, because as you said, we need a change. We need to shake the country. We are sinking bad, so sad. Again, what's still here, like a great thing today, is that it's not a violent country yet. So I hope it's gonna stay like that, and I hope a change is gonna happen, because we cannot go there. Canada needs to be a safe country. I think it is a safe country, but if things don't change, the situation are gonna be like the opposite. And okay, guys, so that was my thinking about the whole Canadian Venezuelan situation. Thank you, Toffer, for that. I appreciate that. I know this is not the type of content I do, but I feel this situation in a very personal way to me. So if there are gonna be some new developments about the whole Venezuelan situation, I'm gonna continue talking about it. Let's see if there are gonna be more interventions. We don't know. All the U.S. forces, the ships, the planes, the helicopters are still there in Venezuela. A lot of them, I mean. So let's see what's gonna happen. By the way, the picture we had yesterday with the helicopter where Maduro was inside under arrest, flying next to the statue of the Liberty statue, that was just a great picture, like a symbol of freedom. I was just very happy to see that. Again, thank you guys. See you next time. Stay in touch.